How is it that some of the criteria for promotion to military organizations are evidently such as to favor people with a pathological degree of achievement motivation? This is scary. The person that might have a tendency to get promoted is the one that's looking out for themselves in some cases in the military. Again, it's important to say this isn't like the entire military, but I certainly saw people in the military that were 100% looking out for themselves and they got promoted.
Yeah.
That does happen.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. It happens less than you would think. A lot of times that transparency that these idiots would have looking out for themselves and trying to make those maneuvers, everyone would see it and they'd be like, no, you're not getting promoted. But it did happen. There are grounds for thinking that incompetent commanders tend to be those whom the need to avoid failure exceeds the urge to succeed. According to J.W. Atkinson and N.T. Feather, such people tend to eschew activities which they may show up in a poor light and, unless forced to do so, refrain from taking on any skilled task where there are any doubts about the outcome. So people that are just concerned about themselves, they'll only go into jobs where they know they're going to win. That's what they're trying to do. They're only doing jobs of things that they know they're going to do, know that they're going to win at. Herein lies a special dilemma. Though they need to achieve, it is the very nature of trying which exposes them to that which they fear most, failure. They are like people who try to climb mountains out of an underlying fear of heights. It would not be surprising to find that such people are attracted to and prosper in the armed services. For if one plays it carefully in the military, in contrast to the world of commerce, offers achievement without tears, stick to the rule book, do nothing without explicit approval from the next higher up, always conform, never offend your superiors, and you will float serenely, if a trifle slowly upward, a blimp in both senses of the word. That's the reality. You can do that. You can join the military and you can just kind of keep your nose clean, stay low profile, don't take any additional risks, conform, and you will get promoted over time. In many cases. Marine Corps is tighter though, I think.
I'd like to think that. I mean, what you're describing, he's right.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. And
not right in a blanket statement.
No.
But it certainly happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And you're right in saying like, that's part of the system is you might show up with this altruism of how it works, and the wrong people get promoted sometimes. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not a lot of those people. It's actually a small number, like you said, but it happens enough that you will see it. You're not going to go a career and go, oh, I never saw that. Every single time it was the right person and the right reasons. No, throughout my career, there was examples that I can reflect back on. It's a small number, but the system doesn't work perfectly. And I think the thing I was thinking about, and this is military, I think in general, there are enough jobs in the military that have been done enough times that the template is there that you go, I can take those set of orders and like, man, it's really low risk.
Yeah.
I'm
cookie
cutter job that's been done. I need to take the template. Jocko's gonna hand it off to me. Here's the script. Follow the script. Low profile, low risk. You're gonna look good in the end, and you're gonna get promoted. There are those jobs out there. I was lucky in my career to have jobs that either had never been done before, or really there wasn't a lot of history behind them. So, I'm remembering a couple of times, like when I was in command of an organization where, I was being told, hey, if this fails, it's going to destroy the whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's okay.
That's awesome.
I think I've told this story before. I'm far enough away from it now that I can tell it if I haven't before. But when I took over the first F-35 squadron, the Marine Corps' F-35 program was on probation. Like they were contemplating canceling the F-35 for the Marine Corps, the B variant, which was the Marine Corps variant. And the Marine Corps had already long since committed to that was the only platform. There was no plan B. There was no alternative to that. So if we were going to lose the F-35B, the Marine Corps was going to lose TAC Air.
Jeez.
And as soon as I took command and, I stood up, I told you there's a guy there before, no airplanes, but when I took command, the airplanes started to arrive right when I got there. The Commandant of the Marine Corps came down. Spent like an hour with me. They met him at the squadron. It was he and his sergeant major and me and my sergeant major. And he goes, hey, I hate to tell you this, but you can't crash an airplane.
Oh,
like, wow, that's
Roger that.
Roger that. You know what I mean? Like, if you crash an airplane, we're going to lose the program. Marine Corps is going to lose TAC Air. And so you're talking about the balance of the risk of losing is a lot, the balance that between the benefit of winning. Like, oh, I'll just, marginal benefit of winning, but like there's zero risk.
Yep.
Or, the flip side is, hey, if I go 2 years as a squadron commander, everything goes great, I'm going to get a firm handshake and a congratulations, and life's going to go on. But nobody's going to credit me for doing anything remarkable because the system is, the program is just moving along where it needs to go. But if I screwed up, that downside risk, and I understand the aversion to that. Like, hey, what'd you rather have? A guaranteed win with, a guaranteed marginal win with no chance of losing, or high risk of failure, but this is a once in a lifetime thing that we need the right person at the right time to go through that. A lot of people are averse to that.
Yep. Well, and this is the other scary thing about that is, so you're the squadron commander, you get told don't crash any birds. Well, how about we fly a little less?
Yes. And
right?
it's interesting you said that, because in the exact same weekend, the Deputy Commandant for Aviation, the head aviator in the Marine Corps, said your number one job is to fly as much as humanly possible.
Dang.
Roger that. Okay. And listen, there's a part of it too that you have to understand this. Like, there is nothing that I could do personally short of shutting down the squadron to guarantee they don't crash. There's nothing I can do that. Nope. So there's a part of that, like if you can just let that go and just recognize my best chance of me being successful is to micromanage none of this, as opposed to try to micromanage all of it.
Yep. And that's such a good point, because okay, we can either fly as little as humanly possible, which means everyone's paranoid, no one really knows how to do their job, or you're like, all right, we're going to fly these things, we're going to be awesome at it. Yep. And that's the right call. Obviously, not everyone would make that decision.
No. And even then, there's still, even the right call doesn't guarantee the outcome. You can do everything right, and you know what?
Yeah, you have a mishap on those aircraft.
Yes.
Yeah, things break.
Yeah.
Things break in mid-flight.
Yep.
That happens.
They do, especially brand new airplanes that are still being designed while you're flying them. Those things happen.
How many F-35s have crashed?
Not a lot. So I believe, I have to go back and look. I think the first one crashed in my squadron like 6 months after I left. Yeah.
Got out of it.
There's been a very small, it's been a very safe airplane.
What does an F-35 cost?
At the time, it was $130 million. Now it's probably 90.
Oh, so they cut the price down a little bit.
Well, those first ones are like, they were literally the very first ones off the assembly line. So that, as you know, like that mass production benefit hadn't kicked in yet. So each one was kind of like a unique article. Now, like they're jamming them out, they're making a bunch of them, and it's more cost effective. I know these are crazy numbers, but at the time they were expensive. 133 a copy. I had 14.
When you fly in an F-35 and you're doing a vertical, how often did you do a vertical takeoff?
Like a short takeoff, like the Stovall, like the
like a Harrier.
Yeah, not that often. Sometimes.
How much gas do you go through taking one of those things off vertically?
The vertical flying burns a ridiculous amount of gas.
Do you just basically have to refuel as soon as you get up?
It's not that bad, but it's a lot of gas. Yeah. The landings are more of a critical because you're on the clock. Like you come in, you got to be relatively light. You can't land like a fully loaded airplane vertically because it's too heavy.
Oh, okay.
So you got to be like at a certain limited amount of gas so the plane is light enough to hover. But then again, like you can't just sit there all day long because you don't have that much gas. It's nothing like the Harrier was. Those guys, it was sketchy, like really, really sketchy. But you're burning a lot of gas. It
was sketchy in a Harrier. What made it more sketchy?
Less powerful airplane, harder to fly, less margin for error, you needed less gas to be able to land and didn't have as much time,
I flew the Harrier simulator out at Yuma.
Yeah.
Dude, I crashed that thing literally 17 times in a row. My total flight time was 9 seconds or something. I just,
if you got into an F-35 right now in the simulator, I could over the shoulder walk you through it and you land it almost perfectly the first try.
Well, that's like drones. Man, those first drones came out that were like little model airplanes. Guys were just crashing them everywhere. And now a 3-year-old can fly a drone. And that's no exaggeration.
So true. Yeah.